Hello children, welcome to the YouTube channel DEO Nalgonda. Today we shall discuss our topic heat and measurement in the 7th class English medium of general science subject. In the previous class we have discussed about two important concepts. They are heat and temperature. So, most of us get confused to think that heat and temperature are both the same, but they are totally different. Heat is a form of energy and temperature is a degree of hotness or coldness of an object. So, temperature is the measure of hotness or coldness of an object. So, heat and temperature are totally different concepts. So, do not get mistaken that both heat and temperature are same, they are totally different. Yes, coming to our entering into the main topic, you know very well that temperature is the measure of degree of hotness or coldness of an object. Then which instrument or which gadget is used to measure the hotness or coldness of an object? Can you say it? Yes, you are right. It is the thermometer. Thermometer is an instrument or equipment used to measure the temperature of an object. Thermometer is the instrument or equipment used to measure the degree of hotness or coldness of an object. So, it is an equipment. So, a thermometer appears somewhat like this. If you look at this diagram, you can understand the structure and construction of the thermometer. So, before learning the structure of the thermometer, let me tell you that thermometers are constructed on the fact that matter expands on heating. What is matter? Matter exists in three forms. They are solids, liquids and gases. Any form of the matter expands when it is heated. So, that principle or that characteristic feature is used in the construction of thermometers. Here you can see a thermometer. A thermometer has different parts. Let us start from bottom. It has a glass bulb and this glass bulb is filled with a substance called mercury, and in the thermometer you can see a very thin tube called capillary tube, and apart from glass bulb, the whole thermometer can be called stem. This part till the bulb is called stem. Now, let us see in detail the structure of thermometer. Here the bulge structure at the bottom of the thermometer is called glass bulb. It encloses some space and this glass bulb is filled with mercury. So, the glass bulb acts as a reservoir for mercury. Okay. So, the mercury is stored or reserved in the glass bulb. Glass bulb encloses some space in which the mercury is placed. Then here the mercury is called thermometric liquid. Then what is a thermometric liquid? Thermometric liquid or thermometric substance is one which expands on heating. A substance which expands noticeably upon heating is called a thermometric substance. So, generally thermometric substances used in making thermometers are mercury and alcohol. So, after learning the structure of this thermometer, we shall see how the important properties of mercury and alcohol are advantages in making the thermometer. Coming back to the structure of the mercury, you have seen, you know what glass bulb is. Glass bulb is a reservoir which contains the thermometric material mercury, and here we have a narrow thin tube called capillary tube. It is vacant, it does not contain anything. Okay, then what is the function of the capillary tube? How does it serve the thermometer? Whenever the thermometer is exposed to temperature or hotness, the mercury present in the bulb expands, and as the mercury keeps expanding, it travels or goes into the empty capillary tube. So, capillary tube helps in the expansion of the mercury. The expanded mercury goes into the capillary tube. And the next part is a stem. This part of the thermometer excluding bulb is called the stem. On the stem you can see many divisions or markings. The series of markings or divisions on a thermometer is called scale. These all the divisions put together are combinedly called scale. So, in different thermometers the scale is calibrated differently. Okay, did you get the point? Scale is the series of divisions that are marked on a thermometer. So, the structure of thermometer is very easy to understand and the parts are still easier to remember. Children, you can easily draw this diagram as well. Now, I told you what a thermometric substance or material is. Any substance which expands on heating considerably or noticeably and which can be used in the making of thermometers is called a thermometric material or substance. So, generally mercury and alcohol are mostly used in the making of thermometers. Then why not other substances like air, water and something else? Only why do we prefer mercury and alcohol in the making of thermometers? They have some specific features which are helpful in making the thermometers. Let us see the properties of mercury. The first property is that mercury expands uniformly. The expansion of mercury upon heating is uniform, it expands uniformly. And next one, opaque and shining. The mercury is opaque and it is shining, means you can easily notice the level of mercury in thermometer because of its opaque nature and shining quality. Another important feature of a thermometer mercury is it does not stick to the walls of thermometer. It does not stick to the walls of a glass tube. You know, here the thermometer is present in a glass bulb, as well as when it expands it enters into the capillary tube. So, when it enters into the capillary tube, mercury does not stick to the walls of the glass tube. That is a very important feature. And last one is, mercury is a good conductor of heat, and you know very well that mercury is a good conductor of heat, and we use a thermometer to measure the hotness or coldness of an object. For that, the thermometric material must be a good conductor of heat, and this character adds a specific feature for this mercury. So, these are the 4 important features or properties of mercury. And in some thermometers, alcohol may also be used as thermometric substance or thermometric material. So, if you see the properties of alcohol, they are like this. Alcohol can record even very low temperatures. Means alcoholic thermometers can record very low temperatures. They are very sensitive to heat. Alcohol is very sensitive to heat, and expansion for degrees Celsius rise is very large. Its expansion property is very more. So, for every rise in temperature, expansion of alcohol is very large. And last one, can be colored brightly and can be visible clearly. So, to note or to record the temperature of an object, the thermometric substance should be clearly visible. For that, alcohol can be colored. It can be added with the coloring substances, so that it can be visible very clearly. When compared to mercury, alcohol can be, when alcohol is colored, it can be easily noticed, or it is easily visible to the viewer. So, these properties make mercury and alcohol to be used in the making or preparation of thermometers, and these substances are generally referred to as thermometric substances. If anybody asks you, name some thermometric materials, you can say that mercury and alcohol. Of course, some other, every substance expands, but due to some specific features present in mercury and alcohol, they are mostly used in the making of thermometers. So, children, so far you have learnt the construction of a thermometer, a structure of a thermometer, and important properties of thermometric substances, namely mercury and alcohol. I hope you understood well. Then, going back into the history, then I ask you a question. Do you have any idea of a person who invented thermometer? Yes, it is given clearly in your textbook. He is none other than Galileo. Galileo in the year 1593 invented thermometer. He used air as the thermometric substance. So, Galileo is the first person who invented thermometer, and he used air as the thermometric substance. Yes. Then, are there any types of thermometers? Yes, there are different types of thermometers depending upon the function they perform. Thermometers are of different types, namely clinical thermometer, laboratory thermometer, 6S maximum and minimum thermometer, thermistor, and the last one is digital thermometer. Okay, I write the names here. The first one is, what are the types of thermometers we have? First one is clinical thermometer. Second one is laboratory thermometer. Third one is 6S maximum and minimum thermometer. 6S maximum and minimum thermometer. Fourth one is thermistor. And fifth one is digital thermometers. So, depending upon the purpose we use the thermometer, they are of different types: clinical thermometer, laboratory thermometer, 6S maximum and minimum thermometer, thermistor and digital. Now, we shall learn briefly about these types of thermometers. First one is clinical thermometer. A clinical thermometer is used to record the body temperature of a human being. So, they are mostly used in the hospitals to record the temperature, body temperature of a person. And a clinical thermometer shows the temperature by using two types of scales. One is the Celsius scale and second one is the Fahrenheit scale. Celsius scale and second one is Fahrenheit scale. A clinical thermometer uses both the scales, Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. The Celsius scale starts from 35 degrees centigrade to 45 degrees centigrade, and the Fahrenheit thermometer or scale starts from 95 degrees Fahrenheit to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So, the Celsius scale uses centigrade or Celsius as the unit. The Fahrenheit thermometer uses Fahrenheit as the unit of heat. Okay. So, the Celsius temperature varies from 35 to 45 degrees centigrade and the Fahrenheit thermometer starts from 95 degrees Fahrenheit to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Then what is the normal body temperature of a healthy person? The normal body temperature of a healthy person is 37 degrees centigrade or 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The units are different. Here I am using Celsius or centigrade as the unit of measurement of heat or temperature, and the second one is 98.4. This is the Fahrenheit unit of measurement of temperature. So, both are same. The normal body temperature of a human being is 37 degrees centigrade. It is same as 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a very common concept to be known and to be remembered. The normal body temperature of a human being is 37 degrees centigrade. If the same temperature is expressed in Fahrenheit degrees, it is 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So, where do we use clinical thermometers? Yes, a clinical thermometer is used in hospitals to measure the temperature of persons. If the body temperature is more than 37 degrees centigrade, you can easily say that the person is suffering from fever. So, by recording or noting the temperature, a doctor can easily assess the health condition of a patient. And second one is a laboratory thermometer. The name itself indicates laboratory thermometers are used in the laboratories. Then for what purpose are they used? Laboratory thermometers are used to record or measure the boiling point, freezing point, melting point and other temperatures of other liquids. So, a laboratory thermometer is used to find the boiling point of substances or freezing point of substances or melting point of substances, and it can also be used to record the temperature of other liquids and other substances. So, laboratory thermometer is used in the laboratory. So, again let me go back to the concept clinical thermometer. In clinical thermometer, there is a kink at the bulb. There is a kink. For example, if this is the thermometer and if this is the bulb and if this is the capillary tube, there is a V-shaped bend. This V-shaped bend near the stem is called kink. This V-shaped bend is called kink. Then what is the purpose of kink? Why kink is made? Means this kink prevents the expanded mercury to fall into the stem on its own, because after recording the temperature, the level of the mercury should be studied so that it can be easily noted. This, for that purpose, kink is made. The kink prevents the coming back of the mercury into the bulb. So, to note the temperature steadily, the kink is designed. This V-shaped bend is called kink. Please do remember that word, kink. But laboratory thermometer does not contain any kink. That is a major difference. And the third one is 6S maximum and minimum thermometer. So, this very thermometer is specific because it can record maximum and minimum temperatures simultaneously. Generally, they are used to record the day temperatures. They are used to record the highest temperature in the day and the lowest temperature of the day. So, that is a major function of the 6S maximum and minimum thermometers. Next, thermistor. Thermistor is a type of clinical thermometer which can be used to record the body temperature of infants and children. Thermistor is a type of clinical thermometer which records the body temperature of infants and children. And last one is the digital thermometer. In digital thermometer, no mercury is used and the temperature is shown in the form of digits or numbers, hence the name digital thermometer. And this digital thermometer does not use the mercury. Mercury is not used in making digital thermometers. Why not mercury means? Mercury is somewhat a dangerous substance. When inhaled accidentally, when mercury is inhaled accidentally, it can cause several fatal effects. It can affect lungs, it can affect kidneys, it can affect gastro system. So, it is not suggestible to use thermometers. Therefore, nowadays digital thermometers are used to record the temperatures. So, children, now you are very clear that thermometers are of many types. There are clinical thermometers used in hospitals, laboratory thermometers used in laboratories, 6S maximum and minimum thermometers used to record maximum and minimum temperatures of a day, thermistor thermometer used to record body temperatures of infants and children, and digital thermometer shows the temperature in the form of digits or numbers. In this digital thermometer, no mercury is used. So, like this we have many types of thermometers. Children, I hope you understood all these topics very well. In the middle of the lesson, there are some activities to be done exclusively by the children. I hope go through the textbook and you can perform those activities on your own to better understand the subject. Thanks for watching this video, children. If you